About a month and a half ago, my 2014 Ford Fiesta was totaled on Turo by a renter. And just now this week, I got word on how much money Turo is going to be paying me for that vehicle. So in this video, I want to break down exactly how much and what the numbers are for my 2014 Ford Fiesta that was totaled. I'm going to break down how much the car cost me, how much money it made on Turo, what the expenses of the car were, as well as how much money I am getting paid for the total loss. That will bring us to the total amount of money that I made in profit with my 2014 Ford Fiesta. So let's get started. Now, you guys may remember that just about a month ago, I made a video talking about how my 2014 Ford Fiesta was in an accident on Turo. But the problem is that it was a pretty severe accident. The back passenger side door is extremely damaged, the front passenger side door is damaged, the front fender is damaged, the passenger front tire is damaged, the front end is damaged, and the suspension is also damaged. Now, at the time, I wasn't sure what the fate of the car would be, but I was pretty sure it was going to be totaled. And at the time I made that video, I was under the impression that the guest was not at fault for this accident. Now, funny enough, the renter said that this is what happened. She said the car was drivable and she continued driving it for a few days, only to then find out whenever the car was returned that the car was completely destroyed and that she probably should have never been driving it in the first place. Well, come to find out, the guest was at fault for the accident, and after the insurance company, the police department, and Turo looked into the incident, it was deemed to be the fault of my guest. Luckily though, I am on the 70% plan on Turo, meaning that for every dollar I earn, I get to keep 70% and Turo keeps 30%. But in the case of an accident, I am covered and I have to pay a $250 deductible, but anything above $250, I get paid out by Turo. This comes in handy in cases like what I'm dealing with today, where there is a total loss and I am owed thousands of dollars from that total loss. Now, traditionally speaking, Turo's been pretty good with total losses. I've had a number of them over the years, and all of them have been handled timely. I feel like the prices and the payouts have been pretty fair, and the customer service has been pretty good. This time has been a bit more frustrating, mainly because of the time frames and the timelines of things have been incredibly slow. Sometimes in the past, I have had total losses and have had the entire claim handled from start to finish within a couple of weeks. But in this case, it's been almost 2 months now and I still haven't received my check for my car. In fact, it took Turo over a month to pick up the totaled vehicle, which meant that it was sitting in my parking lot being a total eyesore for over a month. But now the vehicle has been picked up, the payment amount has been agreed upon, paperwork has been sent, and now I am simply just waiting for my check to arrive. And so with that, I want to break down exactly how much this car made in the just over 1 year of ownership. So let's first talk about this 2014 Ford Fiesta, and I want to give you kind of a breakdown of the car. Now, I only rent economy, kind of lower end vehicles on Turo. All of them are extremely reliable, but they are also kind of lower end in the sense that they're cheap to maintain, and they don't have a whole lot of the frills that so many of us are used to. So with the 2014 Ford Fiesta, this was kind of the perfect cross between being nice but not being too nice. The car had nice cloth seats and a nice interior, it had an auxiliary cord, and it had automatic locks, but it had manual windows, and it was overall just kind of very basic in the inside, though it was a nice economy car. So I got this car in July of 2019 and I paid $3,500 for it, which I felt like was a good deal, and looking back on it, I still think that that's a good deal. And once I got it, it started getting rented out on the Turo platform immediately, and it was rented out full time. Now, funny enough, this car was actually in an accident on its very first rental and it was totaled in less than a year, so maybe this car was just doomed from the start, I don't know. But in 2019, this car had a gross revenue of $5,370 for the 6 to 7 month period of time it was rented in 2019. In the same period of time, the expenses for the vehicle came out to $1,097, and the net revenue came out to $4,273 for the car. The expenses include things like registration, any repairs or maintenance that needed to be done, as well as insurance, and the gross revenue includes things like trip fees, smoking fees, as well as damage claims as well. Now for 2020. So in 2020, my Turo car saw a pretty significant hit in the spring because of COVID-19. And so with that, even though the car was rented for about the same amount of time in 2019 as it was in 2020, the revenue in 2020 was significantly smaller than in 2019. So with that, in 2020, the gross revenue for the car was $3,622. The good thing about COVID-19 and the fact that the cars were parked for 2 months was the fact that the costs of the vehicles were less for the same same period of time. And my expenses for 2020 with this car were $560. That brings us to our net revenue of $2,916. So this brings us for the total gross revenue for the 1 year I had this car to $9,352. The total expenses for this vehicle, including the $3,500 purchase price, is $5,157. And that brings us to the total net revenue of $4,195. Now we have to take into account the payout that I received from Turo for this vehicle. And Turo is paying me $4,200 for this total loss, which means that I will be receiving a $4,200 check for this car that was totaled on Turo. So if we total these numbers together, the net revenue, which is $4,195, plus the total loss payout of $4,200, that means that my profit for this 1 year period of time with this Ford Fiesta was $8,395. So this car was on Turo for just about 1 year. It took 85 trips on the Turo platform, and at the end of the day, it made a profit of $8,395 after taking all of the expenses into account. Now that's a number that I am incredibly happy with, and in fact, whenever I got the payout amount from Turo, I was really pleased with their offer. I felt like it was incredibly fair, and I felt like it was a win-win situation. Now overall, I'm sad to see this car get totaled. It was a good car, and it was a good performer on Turo, and the fact is that even though I made $8,300 over this year period of time with this car, it always sucks to see a good one go, especially because it's really hard to find good cars for Turo, especially using tools like Facebook and Craigslist. There are good cars for sure, but it's like finding a needle in a haystack. But all in all, I think 1 year, 85 trips, making $8,300, it's a figure that I'm super happy with. I'm super pleased with it, and I think that it is a great profit to make given the fact that the time commitment for this vehicle is relatively low. But all in all, I think the number one lesson that I want to bring across in this video is the importance of buying cars at the right price. For me, I was able to make a profit on the payout on my car alone because of the fact that I bought it for $3,500 and I'm getting paid $4,200 for the total loss claim. And that really should show you how important it is to buy cars at the right price, to buy cars at the depreciation bottom. That way you can protect yourself as much as possible in the case of an accident. In my case, I'm getting paid $4,200, and that's after my $250 deductible. If I would have paid $6,000 or $5,000 for this vehicle, I would have lost money on this total loss. But because of the fact that I bought the car at the right price, I was able to make a profit on the total loss despite the fact that the car had more miles, it was in worse shape, and it had more wear and tear than it did whenever I first purchased the vehicle back in 2019 for $3,500. But all in all though, you guys, I hope that this gave you some valuable insight into the total loss process on Turo. If you guys have any questions about this process, then leave a comment down below. If this is something that is of interest to you guys, I can definitely cover more on this and what this process looks like on a more detailed level. But while you guys are at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.